Good evening, my beautiful butterflies and fly guys. Listen, did you miss us? Because we missed you. And listen, I know you're ready to get into tonight's discussion, so without pause, let's get to it. This week, I would kind of like to discuss the topic, There's Something About Mary. Now, I know that title sounds familiar because many of us watched the movie starring Cameron Diaz and Ben Stiller. However, this Mary is a bit different. Listen, you don't want to miss this conversation about this Mary. So go ahead and grab your favorite beverage, and we'll be right back after this. Are you ready, AB? All right, let's get it. Hit it. Yeah, in the building.
He's spoke fashion. I'm telling he spoke fashion. So bad. He spoke fashion. I'm telling he spoke.
All right. Again, thank you for joining us, and I'm glad that you've taken time out of your busy schedule to have this conversation. So who is Mary? Well, the Mary in our topic of conversation is often referred to as the queen of hip-hop soul. That's right, and that's none other than Mary J. Blige. Now let's talk about Mary for a moment. In the year 1991, when she was signed to Uptown Records. In 1992, however, Blige released her debut album, What's the 411, which is actually credited for introducing the mix of hip-hop and R&B into mainstream pop culture. That's right, it was Mary J. Blige. Now, I want you to know that throughout her career, Blige went on to release 14 studio albums, all of which have reached the top 10 on the Billboard 200 chart, including four number one albums. I would say my favorite was I Want to Be Happy. I Just Want to Be Happy. Oh, that was a great one. I can remember the video and everything. How can I love somebody else? Come on now. Don't challenge me on Mary J. B, right? Because I'm a fan. How about you? But listen, her biggest hits include Real Love, Not Gonna Cry, Be Without You, and the Billboard Hot 100 number one single, Family Affair. That's right. Blige has also made a successful transition to both the television and movie screens. And I, for one, really like how she has transitioned. That's right, the role she plays on Power Book 2, Ghost, has definitely allowed her to show her acting talent. Now, I know some would say that she is playing herself in the role. However, it may be, she is doing it well. By the way, do you notice the fashion of the show? Let me tell you, Mary is always draped in the latest from Fendi, Christian Dior, and the like. And that is what brings me to this number she was spotted wearing during the NBA All-Star Weekend. Right? Listen, Mary is killing the game even with that, right? I'm just loving this Ballman jacket, knit, wool blend pantsuit. I mean, I'm telling you. Now listen, if you pay close attention to this photo, let's go back to that photo. The next one. But look, Mary is always looking fabulous when she is out and about. You know you're killing it when you go down your when you do your own photo shoot at the crib, right? You know you're killing it.
Okay.
But listen, I'm not trying to start anything, but if I saw a photo of my boo looking up at another man like this, it's going to be a problem. I mean, yeah. I mean, look at how she's looking at him and how he's looking at her. Look, Jordan looks like he's ready to risk it all. He looks like he's the one that's searching for some real love. All right, I'm going to stop right there because I'm not trying to start anything. Nevertheless, this photo is the one that caused all the stir in many of the blogs and just across social media. For some of you, you simply could not. That's right. But how did she become that girl? You know, she's had a few trials and tribulations, but I want to know, how did she recover from such a brutal and expensive divorce from this guy? Many of you heard how she stated that she had to tour in order to recover from her divorce because she was broke.
Oh my God.
That's right. I mean, she went from can do to can don't. And then on to I can do by myself. That's right. But how did she do it? How did she become that girl? Well, tonight we're going to unpack just what it is about Mary in our discussion. There's something about Mary J. Blige. So many of us remember Mary and have been fans from the beginning with the hit What's the 411? Mary started her career, like you see here, with a sense of style and fashion that has continued throughout her career. A young and vibrant talent Mary was. And listen, I can recall the first time seeing her in concert back in the day. See, I was privileged in having my college roommate work at the club. And she was going to perform one particular evening. And he was able to get me backstage with her after her set. And let me tell you, this was before like Real Love was even charting on the charts, and Mary was working hard that night to give the people what they paid for. That's right. And many times, and you often may recall this, that club dates are track dates, and they're simply singing off a track. And sometimes there's not the same energy you would get and experience from a larger venue. But listen, that did not stop Mary from giving it her all. You know, when I had the opportunity to meet her and chat it up a bit, she did not appear, and I was glad to see that she did not appear to be one of those artists that put on airs, you know what I'm talking about, or act as if they have already arrived. And for me, that showed me that she was going to have longevity in the music industry. And you know what? I was right, because here we are years later talking about Mary J. Blige. So what I really want to talk about is what we can learn from MJB. What can we take away from how she moves? One thing for certain that I believe we can take, that we need to learn, and I would like to offer it tonight, and that is, if we ever desire, listen to me, you that are watching, if you ever desire to be that girl, or for my fly guys to be that guy, one thing that you're going to have to learn that I would love to offer you tonight is how to pivot. That's right. You're going to have to learn how to pivot. Now, what does it mean to pivot? Let me tell you. First of all, in business, when a business pivots, it means that it's changing some aspect of its core products or services. Businesses might pivot to better meet customer demand, to shift their target audience, to boost sales, or some combination of both. And you that are in business, you can testify to the fact that there have been times when you have had to pivot. Maybe there was an item that you thought was going to be a great item and you put it on the shelf and it stayed there for months upon months. And you had to pivot. Maybe it was because the target audience had shifted. And when a shift happens, you have to pivot. Now, when a person pivots in fashion, it is to make a significant change in your wardrobe. Did you get that? When you pivot in fashion, you simply make a significant change in your wardrobe. Can you put that up? Learn how to pivot. Can you find that and put that up there on the screen? I want people to see that those are things that you have to learn how to do. You have to learn how to pivot. That's right. So let's observe. Let's observe just how Mary was able to pivot. Now she went from this look in 1997, right? She was at the Soul Train Music Awards, and she pivoted from that look to this look in 1999. All right, a little different. Then she went on to pivot from that look to this look in 2016. Wow. Let me tell you, Mary has matured. And don't you agree with me there? Do you love that? How she was able to pivot in not a long time. Because some of your girlfriends, they're still looking like high school. That's right. And you don't want to be one of those who looks like they have been afraid to pivot. Have you ever wanted to switch it up a bit in order to be perceived differently? Well, this is the lesson that I would offer to you. And that is to learn simply how to pivot in fashion. Next thing you need to learn is not only how to pivot, and I want to say you need to learn it, but I just want to offer these tips on tonight. But it's not only that you have to know how to pivot, but when to pivot. I have to learn when to pivot. So pivoting to, I think we're frozen on Facebook. All right. I think let's go back and look at that. All right. So as we can tell, Mary was able to pivot at the right time in her career. So she was stuck in the hip hop look, but then if she was stuck in that look, and then when she should have matured and pivoted to a more mature look, she would have been stuck. But of course, MJB, because there's something about her, learned when to pivot. Again, it can be crucial and devastating if you don't learn when to pivot. Look at that. Her character, Monet, is again killing it with the Ballman top. I'm telling you, I'm a fan. I don't have any Ballmans, but maybe I could borrow some Ballman from somebody out there. Come on, hit me up on the chat. Are you a fan of Ballman? I'm telling you, I'm afraid to say this, but I didn't know Ballman until maybe about 2 years ago, when I started to see the emergence of this particular brand. And let me tell you, it looks wonderful. Now, let me tell you this. Just because you may not be able to afford the looks that Mary brings, it does not mean that you aren't able to pivot. You see, let me tell you something. Come on, let's just us talking here. Come in a little bit closer. Come in, let me talk to you, right? Because, listen, you may today be wearing Fashion Nova, and you can pivot from Fashion Nova to Zara just like that. All right. Listen, you don't have to be afraid, but knowing when to pivot is of the utmost importance, right? Knowing when to pivot. One more thing that we want to learn tonight from Mary that makes her that girl. And I just like to offer this final thing to you on part 1 of There's Something About Mary. And that is versatility. That's right, versatility. One thing that we can see from start to present over the course of Mary's career is her ability to be versatile. Versatility, by definition, is to have the ability to adapt or be adapted to many different functions or activities. Mary has gone from the queen of hip-hop soul to being a business owner, with giving birth to her own wine, Sun Goddess. You guys remember the ads that were going, the promotional things she was doing for her new wine. Wow, she looks fantastic, amazing even in this photo. To someone who can be taken seriously. She's gone from that to someone that can be taken seriously in music, fashion, and business. Now listen, I love this look on Mary. You know, sometimes less is more, less hair. See, but a nice look. This is a very business conservative look, and she's able to do that because she's versatile enough to go from being a music icon to doing the thing in business. Let me ask you a question. What are some ways that you can be more versatile? Is there something that you can do career-wise that will allow you to become more versatile? I must admit, and this is what I've heard from my Blige guys out there, that a woman who embraces versatility is more attractive to most high-value men. Why? I'm so glad you asked. Because they prove that in being versatile, that they are not afraid to take risks. You see, Mary was not afraid to take a risk, even in business, after her divorce. And remember, her words, not mine, being left broke by her ex. Now, you know what? It just dawned on me, and I must admit this, that I didn't think about it in the beginning, that Mary used to date this guy right here. Oh yeah. Come on, you remember? Come on. Come on, Casey, right? But listen, he's from North Carolina, right? He's from Charlotte, North Carolina. And then fast forward years later, and here she is with Michael Jordan. Guess what? He is also from North Carolina. Do you see where I'm going with this? Come on, do you see? Come on, fly guys. Do you see where I'm going with this? Perhaps just perhaps she has a thing for Southern gentlemen. Look, shout out to my peeps in North Carolina. Come on, shout out to my peeps. Come on, give me some thumbs up if you're in the chat for my peeps in North Carolina. Listen, by the way, if you are in the Fayetteville, North Carolina area, He Spoke Fashion has something big. Come on, something big coming your way. Big things popping, baby. I can't say anything else. All right, AB is always telling me, no, don't say anything else. I can't give it away. I can't let the bird out of the hat, so to speak. But not just yet. But you want to tune in and share this channel with your friends and family so they won't miss out. Listen, it's time to bring this discussion to a close. And I have really enjoyed this conversation on tonight. And I've enjoyed your company. And I hope that you enjoyed this discussion. Listen, my objective was simple, and that was to use Mary J. Blige as an example to show us that if we learn how to pivot, know when to pivot, and to be more versatile, versatility works. And that not only will they say there's something about Mary, but they'll begin to say there's something about you too. All right? That's all I have for you tonight. I want you to have a good night, good fashion, and remember, He Spoke Fashion to you. Hit the like button and the subscribe button, and remember, fashion changes, and so can you. Have a good night. We'll see you again next week. Yeah! In the building.